Howdy folks, I got a project here that might be kind of interesting. This is a 2000 Ford F350 Super Duty, and the complaint is that the windshield wipers don't work, or intermittently they don't work. Yeah, I think it's going to be some kind of a computer related problem, but I guess we'll have to figure that out for ourselves. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. This is gonna be fun. Alright, so the wipers are working. But they're stuck on one speed. It should be on high right now, and it's not. Well, let's leave it in high. So now they won't turn off. This is awesome. Alright, so they're stuck in intermittent, I guess, maybe? Let's try turning it off, then turn the key off. Still stuck on. Okay, now they're off. Okay, now we got high speed. Okay. Come on. Anytime. Isn't that fun? So no high wipers. Yeah, it won't change. It's just stuck on the same range that it was. That same intermittent. Let's see if they'll turn off. So that's off on the switch. Alright, we're off on the switch, off on the key switch. Oh boy, this is going to be fun. Let's see. Go all the way up here to high. Okay, that works. Now if we go to off. Okay, that worked. Obviously it has some problems. Here's a wiring diagram for the wipers on this truck. It's kind of complicated because computers. Down here, this guy is the generic electronic module, the GEM module. It's kind of like the body control module for this truck. And then up here in this box, that's the multifunction switch. That's the knob on the stock, on the column that we're turning to turn on the wipers. It's not really a switch. It's basically just two variable resistors. So on the left side here, you have the intermittent or the interval delay. So that's the first, 5 clicks of the switch. And depending on what resistance there is selected by the switch, that changes it pulls down the voltage on this pin 6. And then on the right hand side, same idea, but it's just to change from off to interval to low to high. So again, just a variable resistance pulling down the voltage on this pin. There's also a dead short to ground here, which is for your washer switch. This is the second half of the wiper wiring diagram. This is where it actually controls the wiper motor. So we've got 3 relays, the washer pump relay, the high-low relay, and the run park relay. and they're all controlled by the gem module through the coil side of the relay by pulling it to ground. Anyway, it's kind of complicated, but I think we can assume that all of this stuff works. Basically, the wiper motor, it has a high winding and a low winding, high speed winding, low speed winding, and then in the interval or intermittent setting, every time the wiper motor makes a complete cycle, it trips the park switch, and then when the gem module senses the park switch, it just waits a certain amount of time in order to turn before it turns the motor back on. That's how you get your intermittent. I can't think of anything on this side of the schematic that would cause the problems that we're seeing. Now we're looking at live data from the gem module, and the wipers are doing nothing currently. So I can turn the switch to any position and I get nothing. No input to the module. I know the module is working because if I come down here to the brake on off switch, if I push the brake pedal, see, it went high there. So the module's working, it's just not getting any input from the wiper control. And the washer switch doesn't work either. Where's that one? So washer pump relay, nothing. Washer pump switch, nothing. So it's as broke as it's ever been right now. Yeah. I saw it's got 9 DTCs for that module, so let's see if we can get those out of it. Okay. Well, now it's beeping at me. What's that mean? Accessory, hold on. Nope, wipers still don't work. It's like it's got a circuit fault for basically every circuit involved. Accessory delay, relay coil circuit fault. Ignition key in circuit fault. Oh boy. Low battery voltage at module. I think that's going to be the key. Wiper motor select switch circuit fault. One more interesting thing. The switch still doesn't work. I can't turn the wipers on. But if I go in here to the bidirectional controls, I can turn them on from the scan tool. Alright, well, I decided to go ahead and pop the gem module loose. It's up here behind the fuse box. And I took the connector off that controls, or that connects to the switch on the stock, and I'm just probed in there. So it would appear that the switch is working. I mean, it's doing something. But the numbers that I'm getting don't match what's on the wiring diagram. So in off position, it should be like 2.6 k ohms, and I'm getting 100, and then no change to the first position. And then that one should be 1.9 k ohms, and it's 82. That one should be 1.3, 0.95, 0.6, 0.4, 0.2. So it's all, I don't know, I'm like 10 times off. So I don't know if there's something I'm missing, or I've got the wrong wiring diagram. Anyway, I don't think it really matters. The switch is working and it's getting feedback back to the gem module. Just to satisfy my curiosity, I popped the connector back out, back probed the pin 26 for the ground and pin 18, which should be hot and run. So if the test light comes on, that means we have both power and ground at that connector. And it's good. So yeah, that's not the problem. At least not right now. Well, something interesting that I noticed. Here's all the trouble codes we have for the gem module, 9 of them. And if you go through this list and compare it to the wires that are in that connector, you're going to find a pretty good representation. So let's see, your B1352 key in circuit fault. There's an ignition key warning switch input. Door ajar lamp circuit fault. 1323. Pin number 11. Door ajar indicator output. So Oh yeah, even like the brake fluid level sensor input right there, pin 24. So what I'm getting at is I bet you when I plug that connector back into the gem module, we're going to have everything back. Well, I don't know. I don't see anything wrong with that connector. There's no signs of corrosion. The pins seem to fit. I mean, they have good drag. So, I think what we do is just spray her down with a little contact cleaner and put it back together. And we probably don't want to use dielectric grease on this, even though it's my favorite libation. But these are very low current signal, very low current circuits, kind of like an airbag sensor. So the additional resistance of the dielectric grease, it could possibly cause a problem. Yep, as predicted. There we go. There's the one I was looking for. There's step 1, step 2, step 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Well, that's fun. So all that screwing around and it's going to be a connector fit issue. Looks that way. This dog will tear your arm off to jump in the water. But a little bit of rain outside and he becomes the saddest dog in the world. Maxwell. Alright folks, I'm almost done with the while you're at it portion of this job. He wanted me to add these rails on either side of the box so that when he's hauling stuff in the back he has somewhere to hook his straps or chains to. I'm also installing a toolbox, which is way too big for the space that we have to work with. So I had to make this Frankenstein abortion of a bracket. It should work. Lets me use the holes that are already in the frame rail of the truck, not drilling any new holes. And it kind of, well, I'll show you. It fits around the spring perch. The box gets mounted on the passenger side just behind the cab. This would have been a perfect spot for a 24-inch box, but he bought a 30-inch box and it's tight. So that's why I had to do all that Mickey Mouse bracketry over there to get around that spring perch. She's bolted out a little bit. That'll work. Well, that seems like a simple job. Mount a toolbox and weld on a rub rail. But that was a pain in the butt. I probably got over 4 hours invested in just that part of the job. Well, folks, what should we make of all this? All I know is that the windshield wipers were completely dead, inoperative, did not work, until I unplugged this C240A connector. We checked the resistance, did a pin drag test. I plugged it back in. They haven't missed a beat since. So at this point, my guess is that we had a bad connection on the pin for the ground side here, the signal return wire, because that's common between both functions of that multifunction switch. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see any obvious corrosion in that connector. I don't see where it's, getting water on the, water's running down the backside of that gem module or anything like that. Yeah, I know this is not very satisfying, but that's all I can say at this point. I guess the only other thing that could be a possibility is the ground here, G300, is also in the C240A connector. So it's possible that we had a bad connection on this ground. So that might actually explain things better, because we had all those other error codes, like for the ABS system and for the low brake pressure, low brake fluid, something like that. Anyway, all kinds of stuff that wasn't related to this circuit. All right, guys, I think we have to call it a day. The wipers work fine. They've worked fine since I removed and installed that connector. So, yeah, not what I expected to find. I thought we were going to find a broken wire or a harness rubbed through, or maybe a cheese-eating friend had gotten in there and made a little snack out of the wiring harness. But yeah, I think it was just a connector pin fit issue, which is not very satisfying. I like to have that smoking gun, but what are you gonna do? Anyway, I think I'll let him take it, and then maybe I'll hold on to this video for a while and I can report back. If the problem comes back, we'll follow it up. If not, I guess that's gonna be it. I think there may still be a problem with the gem module or the lock cylinder. The lock cylinder is messed up too, because if you kind of jiggle it just right, the door dinger stops like it should. So I think with the thing all the way back with the key out, the dinger shouldn't be dinging, but it dings all the time. So we may be seeing this one again, but yeah, I don't know. Thanks for watching, I guess, and I'll see you next time. All right, folks, quick follow-up on the Ford F350 with the gem module issues. It's 6 weeks later. We've gone from sweatshirts to t-shirts, and I just talked to the customer. He told me that the windshield wipers are still working, but he had another issue. The dome light came on and it would not go out. And he told me that the dome light hasn't worked for several years. He also told me that the floor was wet after a heavy rain. So he suspects that the windshield is leaking. So there's our smoking gun. I imagine that the water's running down the backside of that fuse box and gem module, and it's either getting inside the module or it's getting into the three connectors along the side. So yeah, he's gonna have the windshield replaced or resealed, and I guess we'll evaluate once that's done. As far as the dome light goes, he just took the bulb out and he's not worried about that. I guess as long as the windshield wipers keep working, it's not a big deal. But yeah, I thought you guys would like having some closure on that. It seemed, there had to be a reason that we had a poor connection there, and that definitely would explain it.